Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Gnarlroot on all difficulties for the Elemental Shaman in 10.2. This video is going to be mostly focused on Elemental Shaman's damage optimization as well as what utility we can use to kind of help us with these bosses. We're not going to get too deep into the mechanics of each fight. We're just going to be focusing on what we can do better to perform better on these bosses, so keep that in mind. So first and foremost, the build that I would suggest I have up on screen right now, this gives us access to Stormkeeper as well as Surge of Power, being able to get those bigger chain lightnings out for the damage on the adds. The add damage doesn't really matter. Across all difficulties, these adds are going to absolutely melt, including Mythic. These adds will just completely fall over. It's not a huge deal if we do damage to them or not, but if you want to try to do reasonable damage from an overall perspective, this is the build that I would suggest. You could just go full single target and just pelt the boss if you want to, but you don't expect your damage to be very good in that situation. So this is what I would suggest if you want to do some damage to those adds. We also have Liquid Magma Totem for spreading those flame shocks out, though that's going to be a little bit harder because, again, the adds are going to completely melt. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the fight. Alright, so in this clip, I started off really poorly. You should be starting off with like either a Lava Burst into a Flame Shock or even Lava Burst directly into Primordial Wave. Either one of those is not going to be too big of a difference. That's what I would do. I'd do Lava Burst into Primordial Wave and just go ahead and start attacking the boss. I was a little bit AFK at the moment when we started this. You can also start off with Stormkeeper, though the timing is going to be kind of weird. It will kind of pop up towards the end of the first ad set, though it's totally worth doing this just from a pure damage perspective. I did not do that here. This is kind of a lot of mistakes right off the bat. So again, you can, starting off with this before pull, precast at around like 7 seconds. You can precast Stormkeeper and then go Lava Burst into Primordial Wave into your normal Lava Burst spam from there, and then just hit those first 2 lightning bolts from that Stormkeeper with Surge of Power, since we're taking that talent as well, if you can. You can try to do that. You should be able to do that because you're going to be getting Surge of Power from your Primordial Wave. So keep that in mind as well. So you can go Lava Burst, Primordial Wave, first Lightning Bolt, couple more Lava Bursts, and then Elemental Blast, and then another Lightning Bolt. So that's how you can open on this fight. Again, you don't need to have Stormkeeper held for as long as I did on this. But again, I was not ready when we did the countdown. So I was kind of taking a back seat there. So that's how I'd suggest opening it. And then we're just pelting the boss, and like really nothing happens for a good amount of time right when we start this pull. So again, you don't need to worry about anything else other than just kind of pelting the boss and doing as much damage as you can. Make sure you're not getting hit by the lines, obviously. You don't want to be doing that. That would obviously be bad. Make sure you're dodging the frontal. And then when the ads come out, which they should be coming out fairly soon, in just a bit. Like there's a lot of nothing right here at the beginning, and it's like this on all difficulties, just a whole bunch of damage. If you get a bomb on you, you might as well go ahead and use your Spirit Walker's Grace, so you can still be attacking the boss as you're moving. There's not a whole lot of movement in this boss fight where you can be doing damage anyway, so it's better to just go ahead and get that on cooldown. If you're targeted, go ahead and use that Spirit Walker's Grace and walk out while still doing that damage. That's especially important right now because we lusted on this pull, so we want to get as much damage out of our lust window as we possibly can. So I'm going to pop Spirit Walker's Grace and just walk on out, still doing damage the whole time. And then now that the ads are up, what I'm going to go ahead and do is start casting my Stormkeeper and getting ready to do those chain lightning casts as soon as they walk in. So make sure you're waiting too. You don't want to be using your Stormkeeper and trying to chain lightning immediately, because sometimes these things have like some time to walk in. You want to make sure you're hitting as much as you possibly can. So after I give them a chance to walk in, I do my first chain lightning. I put Earthquake down first and then did it, so I get that Surge of Power. Then another Earthquake. Try to get some, I try to proc Ascendance here. That's something that you can do if you want, but then I decided, as you can see, these ads are dying so quickly, and I wanted to make sure I was still getting a chance to use those Stormkeeper charges, so I did eventually just drop it, because I realized that fishing for Ascendance here is really not going to be worthwhile. I do drop my Liquid Magma Totem, but as you can see, these things are just melting before I can even set up a good Primordial Wave here. So that's one thing that I would suggest doing. There's a lot of mistakes that I made with that because of how quickly these ads are dying. I'm spending too much time trying to spread these flame shocks out when these ads are going to die really quickly anyway. If you see that that's going to happen, depending on your group setting, don't even really bother with the flame shock spread unless you can do it quickly. Maybe putting the liquid magma totem down towards the back of the room back here, like if you have the ad spawning way in the back, get those flame shocks out on them quickly, as well as individually targeting flame shocks for the ones in the back so that you've already got them going instead of putting it underneath the boss, because by the time that the ads walk underneath the boss, they're going to be mostly dead anyway. So trying to set up that flame shock spread underneath the boss is going to be very, very difficult. So I lose actually probably a good amount of damage trying to get that flame shock spread when I could have just been pelting the boss and not worrying about it enough. I do get a Ascendance proc with 2 targets because that's all I could manage to get my flame shocks up on. I was kind of stumbling around on targeting as well, and that's not going to help in any situation. But I do get that Ascendance with 2 targets, so it does turn out to be an overall benefit, I'd say. And then here with this second set of ads, I do reset my liquid magma totem with totemic recall because we're having another ad wave here. I'm going to get a chance to set up another primordial wave. But again, they're still going to be dying really quickly. I'm going to try to spread out some flame shocks, but as you can see, they are just dying so quickly. I'm going to get one last chance to try to get a primordial wave window. But yeah, I did a really, really bad job in this clip of trying to get those flame shocks out because, and I think that's actually good to show, because if you're fumbling around with flame shocks and you're not doing a good job with that spread, or at least doing it quickly, it's just not going to be worth it. So just don't even worry about it. So you can imagine like how much damage I'm probably losing by just fumbling the bag with these flame shocks and trying to get a decent primordial wave. Like right now, I even only have 2 targets with flame shock on it, and this is what's really nice about having a weak core like this, so you can kind of keep track of it. But I'm really fumbling the bag with damage optimization on this boss because I'm fumbling around with it. Again, try it if you can. Like as you can see, this wave spawned right here. Right after I use a spender of either Earthquake or Elemental Blast, I could throw out a Flame Shock and hit 2 of them because of Surge of Power. But beyond that, there's really no reason to do much more because of how quickly they're going to die. So just keep that in mind here. As you see, these guys are going to come in. I'm going to do that. I've got that Surge of Power ready after that Elemental Blast. Get 2 of them flame shocked up, and now I'm not going to worry about it. That is the correct thing to do in that situation. But again, even there, I'm not proccing Ascendance, so trying to get any real damage off of that, probably a little bit hard to do. So at the end of the day, I think the big takeaway here is if you're worried about fumbling the bag with those flame shock spreads, then it's just not going to be worth it. Just plunk the boss and then hope that you get that Stormkeeper back up. I possibly would have had another usage here of Stormkeeper, but they just die so quickly that it's better to just hold. I could have maybe used it there, but it was just a little bit too dicey as the boss is going into his immune phase anyway, and he's already immune now. So I guess I didn't really miss a phase for Stormkeeper. So now I'm just going to hold it. Now you're going to see that I'm still attacking the boss here, and that's mainly just so I make sure that I get my full reset of Ascendance back, or not Ascendance, with Primordial Wave back. Just you remember that you can still get that cooldown reduction. So if you're like at 30 seconds on your Primordial Wave going into this phase, just keep plunking the boss to get that CDR, as long as you're not like, forgetting to do mechanics to do that. So I get the soak. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to tap my 3 things back here, and we actually burn this super quickly. I think that's probably the fastest burn I've ever seen for this boss, and we did not have pre-planned positions. But now because I had done that with the reset of the Primordial Wave, I've got basically every cooldown up here for the burn phase. So now the boss is going to take, 100% additional damage. I'm going to go ahead and use my Primordial Wave. I should have used my Fire Elemental first, but not a huge deal here. I'm going to just start plunking the boss, and this is where also Stormkeeper, you want to make sure when I do eventually use that, should be coming up soon. Yep, right here. You want to make sure you'll be doing this with Surge of Power, which is what I just did there. I'm going to try to get another one in, but oh, yep, I do get it here. So I did get enough Lava Surge procs that I can get another Stormkeeper in. If I thought a little bit quicker, I should have just used my Primordial Wave, the first charge of Stormkeeper, build up more Maelstrom, Elemental Blast, the second charge. It's something I'm still trying to get into the muscle memory of. Just remind yourself that when you use that first Primordial Wave, you're getting that Surge of Power, so that does make it a little bit easier to guarantee getting both charges of your Stormkeeper on Surges of Power. I kind of had to get lucky here because of the way that I did it. Just remember that if you have a burst window like this is like the only way that Elemental Shaman can get any kind of like real burst that isn't proc based is with that Stormkeeper. So with boss taking 100% additional damage, Stormkeeper is still going to truck pretty darn hard. So Primordial Wave into the first lightning bolt, build some Maelstrom with elemental blast or with lava burst into an elemental blast, and then into the other charge is what you should have done in a situation like this. So again, we're just plunking the boss here, doing as much damage as we can, and then the phase would repeat if if he was going to live long enough. If you see the boss about to die, just go full single target. Don't try to wait for ads or anything like that. Just try to do as much damage as you can. So this was a heroic version of the boss. There's not really any real reason to show this on Mythic, because it's essentially the exact same, and it's basically the exact same on normal as well as LFR. So as you can see from the damage meters, I'm not really going to be getting close to the top. And I did make some mistakes, as I said. But in the overall damage picture, it's not terrible. It's just making sure that you're not... I think the biggest takeaway that I could say here about Gnarlroot is not getting so up in your head about needing to spread these Flame Shocks out. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a Primordial Wave to pair it with, spreading those Flame Shocks, you're really just praying to get lucky with an Ascendance proc. And that's probably not the gamble you want to make, especially on ads that are going to be dying super quickly anyway. So pretty easy boss, pretty easy opener for the raid. Not very mechanically challenging either. But don't expect your damage to be like insane on this boss. This is not our boss. This is not us. Okay. So with that being said, guys, I hope this was helpful for some of you. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in streaming, I do stream at Twitch at twitch.tv/Ridmark. So feel free to give me a follow there as well if you're interested. I do have a Discord if you want to ask me anything. You can do that there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.